All right, here we go. We got a lot to do in this video. I got a different idea here. What I decided that I'm going to do is I am not going to mirror this part, which I'm calling the fan unit. I'm going to just duplicate it over. That's going to allow me to put text on it, which is what I want to do. And I decided for consistency, I'm going to do the fan unit and the gas unit together. All right, you'll notice that this cylinder is raised up a little bit, and that's because if I have it down here in the holders, there's going to be some shadow created on this one, but I want to duplicate it over, and there wouldn't be shadow on that one, so I sort of exploded the mesh like that. The other thing I want to show you is I've gone ahead and I've done the UDIM tiles. And so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I lost count. Maybe there's 10, maybe there's 9. I've got everything UV unwrapped and placed in its own UV tile, and it's ready to go. Now, if you don't know how to do that, I've done some videos before on that. Maybe I'll link you to 1 or 2 of those. But this should allow me to get some better resolution on my model. All right, so what we do now is once that's done, you select everything and you export it as an FBX. So let's do that and bring it into Substance Painter. I'm going to click File, New, and I need to make sure that this is checked. Use the UV tile workflow. I'm going to select my fan unit, gas unit, click Open and OK, and there is my model. All right, notice all this stuff. Now, I have actually 2 materials on this that I created in Blender. The fan unit, so that I could easily hide things out of the way. So, for example, when I want to work on the end of this, I'm not going to have the gas unit in the way. And these are the UV tiles. So, there's quite a few of them. All right, so the first thing we need to do is to bake the mesh maps. I'm going to do this right now. Bake mesh maps. I'm going to choose 2048, uncheck ID. I won't need that. I'm going to be using this in Blender. I'm going to hit bake, and let's have a look at the size of the squares. Now this will take a couple minutes and I won't make you sit through the whole thing. The squares are looking nice and small. That's going to allow me to get some good resolution. All right, I'll be back when it's done. The model is now baked, so let's have a look at this. It's looking pretty good. I don't really see any errors. Let's hope not anyhow. All right, it's time to start texturing this thing. Now let's see where we are. Let's start with the fan unit. I'm going to delete the default layer, come to Smart Materials, and I'm going to type in Plant Incubator. This is the same Smart Material that I used in previous videos. Now that's only gone on to all of this, not on here, but I'll talk about that in a second. I want to come down here and I want to have a look at the roughness. Yeah, I do not want it that rough. I want it up like about there. I'm going to try around the middle. That's going to be fine. So it's a bit shiny, but not too much. All right, and for the base color, yeah, that's fine with me. All right, so that's my base material. Now I want that also on the gas unit here. Now you can instantiate if you want, which is like using instances in Blender, and if you make a change in one, it'll be reflected. But it's not really necessary for me to do it that way, and that can cause some working issues. So I'm just going to actually copy this layer. I'm going to come to the gas unit, get rid of that, and I'm going to paste it on there. So I now have that on both of them. Now I'm going to do this relatively quickly, which means I may go back and make some changes on my own if I decided I wanted a little bit more shiny or I want to change some colors, so we'll see. All right, I'm going to go back to the fan unit and we're going to add on top of this. I'm going to come to regular materials and I'm going to choose plastic, and I'm going to choose this plastic matte, drag it on top, and I want to have a look at the roughness. I'm going to drop the roughness to about the same and change this to a black color. And so this is going to be black plastic, and I don't want it everywhere, so I'm going to add a black mask and come to my polygon fill, come over here, and then I'm going to choose mesh, and I'm going to click, I want that black. I think I probably want the handle black. Probably put metal there. Okay, we're going to do the fan. I'll do that in a second. Come over here, and I think I'll do this piece black and that one and this one. So I'm just clicking on them and it's adding it there. And then let's come up to these units here, I think I'll do the fan in metal, and in fact I might do the screen in metal too. So that, okay, the buttons. I'm going to start with a black base for the buttons. So I've got that, and that is all I want to do in black on that. So I'm going to come back to my layers, and I'm going to copy this layer, and I'm going to go over to the gas unit now, and I'm going to paste that on top, but I'm going to right click and clear the mask for the gas unit. And I've still got the mask. I'll come back to here and I will just choose that. I want that in black. And I also want this strap, sort of a plasticky material there. And that is it for the black. Okay, so let's see. Let's go on and let's stay on the gas unit for the moment. I'm going to copy that layer, duplicate that layer. I'm going to clear the mask. And I want to make this sort of an orange color. I'm going to put an orange kind of color here, and I'll show you that I've got this palette here of colors that I want to use. I'll use some of them. And so I want to sample from this. So I'm going to come into the properties, and I click on the base color and the eyedropper, and I'm going to choose that orange. And that's what I want. Now, where do I want that? Come over here. And that's too much, so I'm going to come over here to my chunk fill, click there, switch that to polygon, click there, and that will take care of that part. I'm going to have metal up here, and so now I want to think about whether I want any orange on here and where to put the orange. I do want some orange on there, so let's come back to the layers, and this is going to be, I'll call it orange plastic. I'm going to copy that layer, and I'm going to come to the fan unit, and I'm going to paste it, and I'm going to clear the mask. And on this one, let's see, I'm going to try UV chunk. I want, yeah, just that handle part right there. Let's go to the brush and have a look. Let's see if I got the underside. I don't think I did, so I'm going to come back to here, and I think with those 2 clicks I got what I needed. Yeah. All right, cool. All right, let's stick on this one here. Let's do a metal material. I'm just in materials, not smart materials. I want this steel rough. I'm going to drag that up, and that's going to put it there. Let's use a black mask and then see how we feel about this. Let's come over to mesh maybe, and we'll try this bolt. Yeah, that'll look okay, I think, like that. Yeah, okay, the fan stuff. Let's go into the fan and try to get the blades without getting anything else, except for the grill. And I think I will put it on the grill as well. There'll be a bunch of dirt in there soon, so it'll look a little bit different very soon. So I'm just clicking on the fan blades in between the grill, and that is adding the material to the entire fan. Now, is there any more metal on there? No, there is something else that should be black. However, that steel, I'll leave it like that. I'll come down to the black, click on the mask, and I realize I need to come over here to these lights type things. I'll do that there. We'll do something else soon. Okay, so far so good. Dirt will help with all of this. Okay, over to the gas unit. I'm going to take the steel rough. I'm just going to copy it. Come over to the gas unit and paste it. I will clear the mask, but we will start doing it again. So where am I? I'm going to go on mesh. All right, and I want all these bolts in metal. Okay, double check that. Okay, we also want metal up here. Back to here. Let's try that one. That does the whole thing, so I'll use that one. And that's dependent on where I put my seams as well. So, all right. So what's next? We're going to start doing some alpha work on this, and then we'll put some dirt on this. So let's hide the gas unit and go into orthographic and snap to the back view. I'm holding down Shift and Alt and snapping. And I'm going to try to put some bullets. So I think I am just going to use a paint layer. Actually, yeah, okay, I'll do the buttons in a minute. I think I'm just going to use a paint layer for this. So I'm going to choose, I think, maybe just height. Let's try lowering the height a bit and coming to my alphas, and I'm going to choose a bolt. I happen to have one here that I've bought, but you could use any alpha you want. I just want to try and stamp it and see what it looks like. Oh, I'm on the wrong unit. There's the gas unit I did that on. Okay. Let's take that. I'll copy it and I'll put it on the fan unit. And I'm going to call this alphas. Let's try that again. Yeah, oh, the resolution is looking great so far, and I'm only at 1K. Now I'm going to try symmetry, but I'm going to turn on this and I'm going to move it. Let's see if I can show the plane. And I'm going to move it, and I'm going to try to get it as central as I can so I can do the bolts, and we'll see how well it works. Not bad. Let's go around a little bit and see what it looks like in the edges. You know, nothing is perfect, so I think that's going to be okay for those that want them there. Let's try swinging around to the front and seeing how well the mirror works. Just moving the light, moving the environment around. Yeah, those look fine. And for this one, I'm going to have to turn it a bit and just eyeball it. Let's turn that off and see. Now, when we put dirt on, that's going to darken these up. So that's looking okay to me. And I do want some on the gas unit. So I'm actually going to copy this layer. Nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to come over to the gas unit. Maybe I'll hide that one. And see if we can get to the front of this. And see if I can just stamp these down. Okay. I don't know if I want the same size. I can't do the symmetry on this one. I tried and it didn't quite work. So I'm just going to put some bolts down here. And leave it like that. And the dirt on there will help as well. Okay. Back to the fan unit. And the back view. I'm going to make this a bit smaller without symmetry. I'm just going to draw. Where am I here? Fan unit. One there, 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 there. And maybe I'll do a bolt here. Yeah, okay. You do them wherever you want, really. I don't think I'm going to put them along the sides. So we have that as alphas. Let's do this. Let's bring some dirt in right now. But let's save this. And let's add some dirt right now. So fill layer, I'm going to have color and roughness, bring the roughness all the way up for dirt, and choose a dark brown color. Let's try that. And I'm going to add a black mask and generator and choose dirt. Okay, let's bring that out a little bit. Not really seeing it on the bolts yet, but you will. But you see the way it's done a nice job on the fan, and I've got these white borders on it, which looks great. I'll start with that much. I can always change that. Now, this is going to be dirt. I'm going to come back to my alphas, and I'm going to put some more on there in a minute. But I'm going to add an anchor point to this, and it's going to be called anchor alphas. I'm going to come to the dirt layer, and I'm going to scroll down. Don't miss this right here. It's very easy to miss. Micro details, micro height, I'm going to turn on because I'm using alphas. And under micro height here, I'm going to choose alphas for anchor point and switch this. Let me zoom in a little bit and watch the bolts or screws, whatever. Reference channel, I'm going to switch that to height. There you go. Let's put the dirt in there, and that looks great, just like that. Okay, even that one, and the ones over here as well. All right, so we're going to put some text on very soon, but I'm going to just do something now with these buttons. This, I always find this takes a while, and it's kind of very tenuous, so I'm going to come back to that. I think I'm going to do it below here. How do I want to do this? I'm going to add a fill layer with a black mask. Is that how I want to do it? No, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to copy this black plastic. I'm going to duplicate that, and I'm going to bring it up to here. And this is going to be, I'll call it like beige buttons. This is going to be the default color for the buttons. I'm going to clear the black mask. So I'm all set up to do this, and I'm going to change the color here. Like I said, I always have trouble. I'm going to get rid of the metallic. I just want color, roughness, fine. Yeah, okay, a little bit shiny, whatever. Yeah, I'm not very good with colors. I just have a lot of trouble with this. But let's start with that. On the black mask, polygon fill, and over here just the UV chunk fill. Okay, so the default is going to be this color. Now, I might not stick with this color. I'm just clicking there, and because I had put a seam on these buttons, it's just going down sort of 3 polys down. It's going like the top face, the next row, and the next row, because I have a seam on all these buttons there, and that's a good way to determine where you want. I mean, otherwise in Blender, you would have to have a material set for that region and for that region. Now, do I hate this color? Probably. All right, we'll make it a little bit more yellow on the main layer part here. Oh, I don't want to keep you here all day. Let's just go back and just leave it like that for now. And I'll just swing the light over. So, all right, so now I'm going to put some color variation on some of these. So let's say we called that beige buttons. I'll duplicate that layer. I'll clear the mask, and I'll change the color to like an orangey color. We'll try that, see how it looks. Click back on the mask, polygon fill, and just a couple of these. I'll do that too. Okay, it's not very bright. It's almost brown. So let's do that. Yeah, okay, I can live with that. So let's call this orange buttons. Let's duplicate that and do another color. Clear the mask. Choose, I don't know what, green, let's say. Just to be something completely different. Click on the mask. This one and that one maybe. Good enough. All right, okay. That's green buttons. All right, the next thing I want to do is the button shine, and I've done this before in a couple videos, including the last video. And let me just think. I'm going to use just a paint layer. I'm going to call this button shine, and then I'll put all this stuff in a folder in a moment. This one is going to have, I don't want that. This one's going to have just color, so I'll click on color. I want it white, but not perfectly white, something like that. I do want it relatively bright. I'm going to search for a square. I haven't tried with the circle yet, and I probably should, but we're not going to do that right now. Increase the size, and I'm just going to click a square right in the middle there. Now, is that, let's see if I can bring the light over here, how white that is. And I may lower the dirt a little bit as well. This is going to be just fine. I'm going to put a square right in the middle of all of these, and then we're going to blur that so it looks a little bit like a gradient, a little bit like a shine. And then we're going to also add an emission on this. Okay, so I've got those there. I'm going to right click and choose filter, and the filter I'm going to choose is the blur filter. So let's just watch that and increase the blur intensity till it looks something like that. All right, and you can do it as much as you think you need to. I'm going to go with that. All right, and then the final thing we're going to do on here after the button shine is we're going to do an emission. And in order to do emissive, I have to come back my texture set settings, look at the channels. I've got color, height, roughness, metallic, normal. I don't have an emissive channel, so click on the plus, add emissive. So now it's there and it's available. So I'm going to create another, I'm going to do a fill layer this time. And I'm going to choose just emission. And the color is going to be, let's go with green. And you can see it showing up on the model completely. Now there's a few things I can set. I'll do that in a moment. I'm going to add a black mask because I don't want it everywhere. Polygon fill, that one. I'm going to click there and I'm going to click there, those two. I'm going to come back to my shader settings and I'm going to up the emissive intensity. I may have to change the color. And also in the display settings, I'm going to activate post effects glare. I'm going to put a check mark there. Now you can see what's going on. I'm going to open this up and I'm going to choose bloom. So that may be a little strong actually. So just something like that. And I can adjust that in Blender as well. Okay, so those are glowing. I might consider looking at this color. I'll just drag it around and see what I think of it. I think I'll go, no, I'll go with something like that. Okay, now, so this is emissive. This is emissive green. I could have done orange, I could have done whatever, but I'm going to duplicate that layer and clear the mask and change the color to red. We'll try that red, see how it looks. And we are coming over to these top buttons here. I didn't do the blur on those, and I don't think I'm gonna do that. Let's just click on the mask, polygon fill with that, and let's just add that there. And those will just glow just a little bit. Okay. Now let's, just for the fun of, for sake of keeping things together, let's grab this. Where is it? This one is actually emissive red. So I'm going to grab that all the way down to there and Control G. And where'd it go? Where's my folder? There. That's my buttons. And let's bring back the gas unit. I'm not doing any glow on there. It's time to do a little bit of text. So I'm back to hiding that. Let's go back to the alphas. Now it is just a paint layer, and so once you stamp it in, you can't change it. But I'm okay with that because I think I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do. I think for this I'll do color and height. The color is going to be pretty much black, and the height will be just down a little bit for some text stamped in a little bit. Come to my alphas, and I'm going to type in font, Orbitron. And up here, I'm going to change the text to say something like, let's try one that says control. And let's zoom in a bit, make that a bit smaller, and let's just try stamping that in and seeing. Now, it's a little blurry, but remember, I'm going to up-res this, okay? And so we'll do something that says control there. That sounds good. And how about something like active when, and then lit in caps. And maybe I do something. Okay, doesn't quite fit, so change the size here and then up it here. Active when lit, just something in here and something in there. And then I'm going to say on this, I'm going to write caps. I didn't do it. Turn. I'm going to like to turn this valve. Zoom in. I'll stamp something in there that'll say turn. And maybe I'll type some name on here, like, so what is this? This is the fan unit. Well, let's just call it fan unit. Just fan unit. That's probably okay. Let's see if that fits in there and how it looks. Not quite centered. Let's see if I can get it a little bit better than that. Yeah, okay, good enough, right? All right, let's come to the front of this guy here. Actually, to the side. And on the side, I want to say, like, what am I saying here? Out 1 or something? Like output 1 or something? Out 1. Turn it to the other side. And I'm not very creative with this stuff. We'll say out 2. And here, because this is CO2 for the plant growth, we'll say CO2, how about CO2 and then another word in caps, delivery? I don't know if that's going to make any sense. What was it? What if I did it there? CO2 delivery. Heck, you get the idea. And on top here, we're going to say power. If I could spell. What about something like just power? Oops. And then on this one, close to here, we'll say power. Okay, so that's the text that I want to have there. I don't think I need any more. Well, there is one more. I'd like to put my, not logo so much, but the text, Luna green, for like on the moon green. And I want this bigger, but not huge, and just down a little bit. And I want to think about doing it on the other side as well, so it's not quite centered and it's around this bar. No one's going to see both sides at the same time, so that's how you can get away with this, because you can't mirror it or it'll be backwards. Okay, so it'll say Luna green, Luna green. I could do stripes and stuff, but I'm not going to bother with that. Let's do that and save. And by the way, because I've been adding this text on this alpha layer that has the anchor, a little bit of dirt has been going into that as well. There is one more design element I'd like to do on there, alpha dots. This is very, very typical. I want to do this. I think I want to do this. I'm just going to come over here and rotate this. And zoom in. And I just thought for one more design element, just trying to get it relatively central. I just thought I'd throw that in there. Is that depressed enough? Now I can still come back here and I can make this go down a little bit more. Won't affect what I've already done, which is actually one nice thing about doing it this way. Although most people probably would use a fill layer, but I'm just going to do that. And that's going to be it, I think, for this unit right here. So let's bring back the gas unit and see. There really isn't any text. I was thinking of doing something on here. Actually, no, you know what? I was actually thinking about putting those on. This is the gas unit, though. I need to come over here. Now, this is alphas, right? And there's nothing. Let's see if I'm set up to do this. You know what? I might do it small. I don't know. Hope it doesn't look too chintzy. Does that look not quite central? Oh, I better do it. All right, I'll do it that way, and I will rotate this back. Just something. It's just something. I don't think I want to write Luna green anymore, or maybe I'll write CO2 or something. All right, let's see if we can think of something. The only thing I want to do is I want to bring the height up a little bit, and I want it to depressed in for text. And where is what I need to do? There. I got to change this to font. Okay, font. I'm using this Orbitron. CO2 gas. I want to say something like that. Is it dumb to say that? Maybe not like that. Maybe like this. You know what? I might just do it. And then, you know, when I copy the cylinder over to the other side, I'll rotate it a bit, and then, so it won't always be there. Now, this is alpha, but I don't have dirt. So let me grab the dirt layer from here. I'm going to copy that layer over to the gas unit. In fact, let's just look at the gas unit, and let's paste that layer. And the dirt will come. The only thing I wonder is I have to make an anchor point here, alphas, and let's see if this has worked. See, it's the anchor point is broken, so I got to grab it again and make sure it's on height. And yeah, there's some dirt in those bolts. Okay, they look better. And I think that is it. Okay, let me just check the dirt on this. Yeah. Let's go out of orthographic and look in perspective. Hit F to frame it. Make sure we save. Maximize. Let's look with anti-aliasing on here. Where are we going? Anti-aliasing. I'll show you color profile, but then we'll be frustrated when we go into Blender because it may not look quite as good. But we got that, basically. All right. So that's what I'm going to go for. All right. And then now it's time to bring this stuff into Blender. So the way this works is, I'll come back to here. Before we do, let's not forget to up-res this. And then we'll have a look and we'll see how nice it looks. Okay. Looks pretty sharp to me. Looks great. All right. Good. Save. All right, so we're going to export this stuff now. So I'm going to click Export Textures. These are the materials or textures, fan unit and gas unit. I'm going to switch this to just typical metallic roughness. 8 bits, 16 bits, up to you. I'll do that. I'm leaving everything else the same, but my output directory, I'm going to choose an output directory here. I tend to keep the texture with the models and everything. You can see I've got an export, Substance Painter stuff, textures. I'll just select that folder. And watch when I click export. It'll take a minute. So these are all of the maps, and you'll notice that they have these numbers, 1006, 1007, all that kind of stuff, because that's because I use the UDIM method of doing this. So there's a sequence of images. All right, well, that being done, let's make sure we save, and we're going to head back into Blender, and I'll show you how to hook up these textures, and that'll be it. So I'm going to start on the fan unit here, and I'm going to bring in a texture, image texture. I'm going to select here under textures, and let's see which one it is. Okay, I want to choose this one, the lowest number for the fan unit base color. So I'm going to click that. It now changes this to UDIM tiles. It knows that it's using a sequence, and I'm going to plug that into the base color. And already we're getting quite a bit done on this. I'm going to move that up just a little bit. I'm going to copy that or duplicate it down, and now I'm going to do the metallic right there. So I'm going to open. Now I'm looking for fan unit, gas unit, fan unit, metallic. So I'm going to scroll down. The first one here is 1006 fan unit metallic. I'm going to click that. open, but I'm going to change this to non-color, plug that into the metallic. Okay, nothing really much going on, whether I even needed that or not. Okay, I'm going to do the roughness, same idea. Just make sure you get the right one, you know, so scroll down, find the roughness, the first one. Okay, happens to be 1006. I'm going to change that to non-color data, but notice it's saying UDIM tiles there. That's going to get plugged into the roughness, so I should have a little bit of shine, but not too much. Right? Not too much. Okay, good. And now I'm going to do the normal, but I think I'm going to use height. So let's see. Let's try it. Let's drop this down and grab the fan unit height, 1006. I'm going to take that. I'm going to make this non-color, and then I'm going to try a vector bump. We'll see which one works better. If this one works just fine, I'm just going to leave it like that. Plug that into height, leave the strength at 1, and try normal. And that gives me my indents, and I think I'm fine with that. I'm not sure. In fact, I think it would be worth trying the normal. I have a feeling that's not going to work as well, though. But I could be wrong. So I'm going to instead choose the first normal and Shift S, change this to a vector normal map. And that doesn't give me anything, so I'm backing up. So I have, what is this? Let's make sure this is height, not gas unit. Height for the fan unit on non-color data, and that's what I'm going to go for. Okay, so I've hooked that up. The only thing I don't have is the emissive yet, so I'm going to take this one and Shift D to duplicate it down, and I'm going to open up the emissive, first emissive for the fan unit. And I'm going to drag this and I'm going to plug it into emission right here. And I'm going to change this. I'm going to try 12. It's lit up, but I'm also going to come over here. These things I do have turned on already, ambient occlusion, bloom, etc. So there is the fan unit done. Now we switch over to the gas unit. Same thing, Shift A, texture, image texture, open, textures. I want now not fan unit, I want gas unit base. There it is. Gas unit 1001. Yeah, they always start at 1001. There we go. All right, that's okay. Let's do the metallic. Shift D to duplicate it. All right, open the metallic. Not fan unit, make sure we get the right one. Gas unit metallic 1001 in this case. I'm going to plug that into the metallic and make sure the color space is non-color. UDIM tiles, looking good. Yep, looking good. Roughness. Roughness is 1001 for the gas unit. And that's going to get plugged into here. And non-color data. Otherwise it's super shiny. I want it a little bit shiny, just not crazy. All right, so far so good. Let's do the height. I think is one we decided was the best for our purposes. Okay, let's bring that down. Switching between Substance Painter and Blender and the keystrokes. Okay, height, right? We're going for height. No, not that one. Don't do that. Oh, where is it? Height. There it is. Okay, so it's going to be height. It's going to be non-color data, and I'm going to want a vector bump. And then, of course, you can decide how much, height you want to add. All right, and bring the normal into the normal. Yep, looks good. So we can have a look at this. I'm going to copy that cylinder down. So let's do that. Let's take this guy and look from the front or the back or whatever, pull it in to about there. Let's Shift D to duplicate it. I mean, I could instance it, but let's just do that. And then let's rotate in the Y, like, you know, just do something like that. The other thing that I would do is, like I said, I'm going to duplicate this thing. Now, they're all together, right? So I'll have to do it like this. I'll have to just grab all of that. And I'm just going to copy it over. I can put it into collections later. And it needs to be relative to the ship, but just to show you how this will go. So I've got my text there. I've got my text. And that is how she is looking. All right. So, I mean, I already have some, you know, different lighting in here, so it may not look exactly, you know, like we would want it to, so at this point, so. But they're textured and they're in, and in the next video, I'm going to take the satellite dish and the antenna, and I will do the same kind of thing, but I think beyond that, I will just go off on my own, and I will texture the ship, the windows, because a lot of it is very repetitive, and I'd like to get through this series. So if there's anything special, I'll share it with you, or I might do a time lapse. And so I will do at least one more texturing video with you, and then I'll go off on my own, and I'm going to finish it, and I'll show you where we end up. And you know, like I say, if I did anything special, I'll talk to you about that, because there's another Blender challenge coming up, and I'm hoping some of you will get on board with that and would like to do it with me and with the rest of the people who are doing it on the Discord. Okay, so more stuff coming up soon. Thank you very much for watching, and see you again.